The following video contains spoilers. We suggest watching the episodes alone in the dark. Hello, Wolfpack. We are back, and today we tackle another special requested episode of the hit horror series R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour. Today's story has been suggested to me for a very long time now, since it's another big fan favorite. But for bonus points, this episode is also an adaptation of one of R.L. Stine's short stories from his novel The Nightmare Hour. Yep, it's going to be another story adaptation compared to the book version, but thankfully it's not too far off from the novel's main plot. But it gets even better. This episode is also the very first Haunting Hour episode written by none other than Melody Fox. That's right, we're going back to where her Haunting Hour career began to see how well her story holds up by today. Oh joy. Now to be fair, Melody Fox did also adapt Black Mask, The Most Evil Sorcerer, and My Imaginary Friend onto the big screen, so she does have a lot of credibility at making awesome Haunting Hour episodes from R.L. Stine's original ideas. For the record, this is mostly R.L. Stine's original story, but Miss Fox is just adding additional notes to make it longer for TV. So don't worry, I promise that this is not going to be another Bash on Melody Fox video, since I do believe that she has written good stuff. But now, we're going to see how well she produced another Nightmare Hour tale, and it's her first ever Haunting Hour tale. Now this story is a little odd, considering that the show is now trying to make candy terrifying. But I heard mostly good things about this, which does give me some relief. Then again, the last episode I reviewed that tried to make food products scary ended with people drowning in a sea of cheese puffs, so you can't really blame me for worrying about this one too. This episode also stars another actor from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid saga as our main protagonist. The kid who plays Fregley is going to be in this episode as our kid hero Walt. Yep, another kid from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid cast is now going to be harassed by scary monsters. First we had half the My Little Pony cast, now half the Wimpy Kid boys. This show sure has some very obscure actors, but I'm sure he'll do a good job on here. Was this adaptation a tasty treat of juicy nightmares, or was it a sour mess that should have been spat in the toilet? Well, let's stop wasting time and find out. This is my review on the Haunting Hour adaptation, Alien Candy.
Alien hunting! Alien hunting!
Patrick, don't let them know we're onto them. Yeah, alien hunting. I saw that on TV too. Everybody give a cheer. He's not as clever and so smart. He barely can restrain it. With so much generosity, there is no way to contain it. To contain it. To contain, to contain, to contain.
So our episode opens up in a regular middle school cafeteria, where we meet our main characters eating their lunch and discussing guy things like hair color and aliens. Meet our heroes, two awkward nerds who love space, named Walt and Tim. Believe it or not, them discussing Walt's hair being dyed a different color is important to the plot later, so you might want to remember that. And like I said before in the intro, Walt is played by Fregley. Hi, Fregley. I look forward to seeing your friend Greg get stalked by a mummy and turned into a corpse, and seeing your other pal Rowley get abducted by the pedophile ice cream truck. Now, the best friend Tim is not really a character from the book, but Walt is. Only he had no friends since he was kind of a loner. Also in the Nightmare Hour, he was named Walter, but here Melody Fox changed it to just Walt. Since that sounds cooler for the children under 7, they also changed the main character's physical appearance as well, since in the novel, Walter was a shy fat kid, while on the show he's an adorable ginger kid. This wouldn't be too bad, but it will be a complaint I have later for plot-related reasons. So Walt and Tim discuss aliens because they're so cool, but unfortunately they get harassed by a generic idiot bully. What? Another generic idiot bully? Seriously? We have another one of these morons? Curse you, Melody Fox! Yes, really. Even back then, Melody Fox was creating these stupid, awful bully cliches. This is Dwayne, our stupid, unimportant bully for the day, played by Halftime from Detention. The only nice thing I have to say about him is that his actor gets to be in a much better Haunting Hour episode in the future. Sadly, his talents get wasted here when he plays the idiot bully. I know he has a name, but I'm just gonna call him Idiot Bully because that's what he is. That's what every bully character is. Heck, his black best friend there doesn't even get a name or a single line of dialogue, since he's just as useless as the idiot bully is. Now, if you've been watching my show for a long time, you all know how much I despise these predictable, cliched, one-note idiot bullies, but I'll save you time and warn you all that this idiot bully is completely useless. I don't mean just useless in general like real bullies. This guy is pointless to the entire episode. He contributes nothing. He's not entertaining, he's not funny, he's not memorable, his lines are generic jerk insults, his encounters with Walt and Tim amount to absolutely nothing. You can easily fast forward or cut out all his scenes entirely and it wouldn't change a thing. The story would play out the exact same way without this moron in it at all. He is that unnecessary to the entire plot. So for the sake of time, I'm going to try my best to speed past all his useless scenes unless I have to address them. But just to warn you all, this idiot is, in the grand scheme of things, pointless. So to Melody Fox and all future writers out there, you do not need to have a generic idiot bully in every high school setting, especially if they aren't going to be essential to the plot. I am so sick of these guys that from now on, I'm just going to nickname all the idiot bullies I meet next, the Cameron, named after that dumb cliched jock bully stereotype from Pool Shark. Since when you get down to it, all of these child-friendly bullies are your typical run-of-the-mill jerks. So congratulations, idiot bully, you've been infected by Poison Cameron. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to put all of this stupid guy's scenes where they belong. Anyways, Idiot Bully needlessly picks on the kids, but when Walt mentions alien contact out loud, he gains the attention of two weird teenagers. You know, did we really need the bully arguing with Walt on space to gain the attention of the mystery kids when a few seconds ago they bragged about aliens out loud? Again, the bully is pointless when there are easier ways to write around him. So they fight over a space book, but the idiot bully and Walt get into trouble for knocking down a food cart. Yeah, of course Walt gets punished too for being tossed against his will, because adults are stupid. The lunch lady takes them away for punishment, but all of the stupid kids cheer the bullies on? What the heck? All the kids in the school cheer the bullies on? What is wrong with you sick freaks? This is the most pro-bullying school I've ever seen. Does Melody Fox actually think kids are this cruel? Who the hell is running this awful school? So the lunch lady gives the two detention by forcing them to help her work around the lunchroom all week. This is a plot point that goes nowhere. We see Walt and Idiot Bully in detention once, and then never again. Melody Fox completely forgot about this setup, since Walt and Idiot Bully never returned to detention ever again after one scene, making it even more obvious that the Idiot Bully is useless to the story. Oh, but then we would have missed how Dwayne the Rockhead McDumpson here is a football player, and all this detention time would really cut into his football practice. Yes, of course, the idiot bully is a football player who picks on nerds, because as we all know, every football player is an idiot or a jerk who likes to pick on them nerds, since Melody Fox can't let old school cliches die. Jeez, Miss Fox, why didn't you just make all the idiot bullies' dialogue into this?
Yeah. I love being a bully.
Okay, so where are those aliens? I was promised that there'd be alien candy in this tale about aliens and candy. So when Walt walks home, we see the two ominous kids from earlier watching him from afar. Eventually, Walt meets the two kids who introduce themselves as Greg and Bonnie. Greg is played by Jeremy from Checking Out, and Bonnie is played by Erica from Lovecraft's Woods. These two do a pretty great job at being unsettling creeps, so I'll admit that they make pretty good mysterious strangers to fear. They want Walt to join their super secret exclusive club, the Alien Club. Walt thinks they're just trolling him at first, but they decide to show him that they're super serial when they take him to their clubhouse down under the school basement. Wait a minute, their clubhouse is under the school basement? I wonder if they're neighbors with Big Yellow.
I'm the only monster living in this turf, punks. Get lost!
Now, I know I may seem harsh towards Melody Fox, especially in my previous videos, but I do have some positive things to say about this change that she made. First off, Melody Fox does a much better job than the novel did with setting stuff up, since we actually see how Walt joins the Alien Club, whereas in the novel, Walter was already in the club to begin with, since he joined them off-screen, and most of the novel is just him wondering what they do in the Alien Club. Melody Fox does a decent job expanding on the story here, since we get to know Walter long before encountering the supernatural monsters. Plus, changing the Alien Club from taking place in one of the club members' house to underneath the school is slightly more interesting, since we can see how the Alien Club is an official club on school campus recruiting new people. Of course, it does also raise a huge number of questions later, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Only bad thing I have to say about the story expansion is that for some unknown reasons, the writers got rid of the Alien Club members Natasha and Evan, which kind of sucks. In the Nightmare Hour, there were 4 Alien Club members, but the show downgraded it to just 2 members. I honestly thought that it could have been cool if the idiot bully was Evan from the novel, but sadly that wasn't the case. It just makes me upset that Melody Fox got rid of 2 big characters to make way for Idiot Bully. Melody Fox deleted 2 major characters to make way for a character who wasn't even in the story to begin with, and who never even impacts this one. What a waste. Anyhow, the 2 creepy kids show Walt their cool basement clubhouse and tell him that they specialize in hunting down aliens. When he asks for proof of this, Greg and Bonnie show him the Power Stone, a super rock that can do anything as the plot demands. I'm not entirely sure what the Power Stone is exactly, but I kind of think it's like that super ball the Goblin King had, since it has unlimited power, and it looks pretty wicked. Let's just hope that Thanos doesn't get their Ultra Power Stone for the Infinity Gauntlet. Enchanted by the Power Stone, Walt wants to know more, but they tell him that he has to pass their club initiation first. In order for Walt to officially join the Alien Club, he has to consume an entire bag of alien candy, which looks an awful lot like drugs. Seriously, why does the alien candy look like drugs? Is it symbolic or something? I guess it's slightly better than the alien brownies back in the book, since the treats actually look like candy here, but it still looks suspiciously like something you don't want your kids to eat.
Ew, drugs are disgusting. I'll stick with a delicious bowl of Big Yellows, thank you very much, since it's a part of a nutritious breakfast. You can really smell the children's skulls. I mean marshmallows. Yeah, marshmallows.
I like Smarties.
back in the plot, Greg and Bonnie tell Walt that the alien candy will enhance his human abilities, so he can easily form a mental bond with the aliens they encounter. So, like a total moron, Walt completely trusts the two creepy strangers who take him down under the basement where nobody can see them. And of course, he eats the suspicious candy drugs they provided him with because they say they're magic. Don't trust strangers who pass out odd candy, kids. So we cut to Walt's room, where he fulfills his promise to eat the alien candy to get inducted into the club, but his BFF Tim visits since he was worried where his pal was today. Tim spots the jelly beans on the counter, but when he tries to eat some, Walt takes them away, warning him that he can't have any since he's not a part of the alien club. Oh, and despite Greg and Bonnie telling Walt not to let anyone know about the secret alien club, Walt immediately cracks and tells Tim all about the alien club. Gee, that took little to no trouble at all. Nobody better ask Walt about his day or he might give you his bank code. The next day, Walt begs Greg and Bonnie to allow his dude bro into the alien club, but they say no, since this club is way too important for amateurs. They dismiss Walt at first and tell him to go back to eating the alien candy if he ever wants to get in, which he complies to. However, once he leaves, Greg and Bonnie discuss whether or not Walt is truly a worthy candidate for their hidden cause, while we see Bonnie doing a scary face. But enough of the sinister foreshadowing, because we cut to Walt and Tim having lunch again. Walt tells Tim that he can't join the alien club and acts like a colossal jerk by telling his best friend that he's not as special as he is to join the alien club, causing the two to break up. Oh no, I hope this doesn't lead to a heartfelt reunion later in the climax. Walt completely ignores his best friend dumping him like a jerk and continues eating the alien candy, but he suddenly starts to feel woozy. Whoa, who knew that taking suspicious-looking pills from creepy kids in a dark basement was a dumb idea? But somehow, Walt never puts it together that he's starting to feel weak from eating the questionable candy. I guess he was distracted by the weird camera effects. That night, Walt tries sleeping, only for Greg and Bonnie to break into his house somehow to confront him about his initiation. Walt is obviously confused on how they got into his house, but instead of realizing that something strange is clearly going on, he tells them that he's been eating the alien candy like they asked. But the villainous duo paralyze him with the Power Stone. We then get an honestly pretty dark and scary scene where Greg and Bonnie examine Walt's body by shoving a large needle into his foot. Ew. They also reveal that the alien candy was meant to purge toxins from Walt's body so they could prepare him for their true plan, where we then get our big reveal. Bonnie and Greg are really aliens, and they actually recruited Walt into their club so that they could eat him. And I have to give credit. This is a very good scary scene, and the designs for the aliens are pretty awesome. These are some amazingly detailed monsters. I actually love the way aliens Greg and Bonnie look in the show. Now, for those of you who don't know, in the Nightmare Hour, the aliens looked nothing like they do on here. In the book, well, the aliens kind of looked like Big Bird. Really, that's the best way I can describe them. In the book, the aliens were these Big Bird-esque aliens disguised as human children who, much like on Calling All Creeps and the Nightmare Rooms episode 4 Eyes, spied on humans from afar while wearing fake skin to blend in, and they secretly recruited fat kids into their club so that they could eat them. On the show, they kind of do the same thing, but they look a lot cooler in these forms. Sure, it's a little cliched with them being little green guys, but I honestly think that they look absolutely great. Plus, they kind of make fun of their cliched design earlier. However, I'm still disappointed by two things. One, the show could have had 4 of these aliens if they didn't omit the aliens Natasha and Evan. And 2, the show should have made Walt a fat kid like how his book counterpart was, because I'm kind of confused on why the aliens want to eat Fregley instead of the overweight idiot bully, since he'd have much more meat on him over this twig boy. I'm just saying, it would have been better if it was a fat kid, since unlike the novel, this version of Walt actually fights back against the aliens later, and it'd be kind of cool if Melody Fox had a badass fat kid save the day to impress kids who have similar weight issues. But that's just my 2 cents. It also made more sense when they did hunt down fat kids for food, but I'm not an alien expert. So the episode gets really good and creepy again when, I swear to you all, the aliens eat off part of Walt's foot. I feel that there's a certain catchphrase I should be saying here, but I'm a little confused on where that ominous green alien light is coming from. Jeez, I forgot how great Melody Fox was at her darker moments. This is pretty scary stuff. Aliens disguising themselves as ordinary kids so they could weed out and prey on weaker kids in schools so they could eat them alive? That is great horror material. Props to the special effects department too. They really look like they ate off a part of Fregley's foot. Sadly, it doesn't last long, because we follow up this awesome moment with one of the episode's stupidest lines. Yes, just when it gets good, Melody Fox has to ruin this good horror scene. How? Well, Walt doesn't die here like he does in the book, and we suddenly stop following the Nightmare Hour story when we get a painfully forced moment of the protagonist gaining some plot armor to save his life. The aliens don't kill Walt here and now because... just watch. The aliens are allergic to redheads. The aliens don't devour our kid hero because they're allergic to redheads. Okay, are we actually doing this? Is Melody Fox really coming up with a BS solution from nowhere to prevent our hero from dying easily here and now, just to drag out the plot? Out of all the ways she could have saved Walt, she chose to have the murderous child-eating aliens be allergic to redheads. Seriously? The aliens can't eat redheads? You could have had them be allergic to his bloodstream, or say that he wasn't fat enough yet to consume, or have the alien candy be ineffective on his body type. But nope, aliens are allergic to redheads. Come on, there are a ton of ways you could have rewritten this moment to allow Walt to get out of this alive. Why are aliens allergic to ginger kids?
This disease is called gingivitis, and it occurs because ginger kids have no souls.
You know what's funny is that a lot of people were able to overlook the aliens being allergic to redheads, but still hate the midichlorians explanation for the Force. Ain't sci-fi grand? The only reason that justifies this is that earlier in the episode when Tim and Walt are discussing hair products, they bring up how Fregley used to have red hair, but dyed it a while ago. So Melody Fox actually planned for this. She had a line to foreshadow the aliens being allergic to redheads later down the story. I'm sorry, Miss Fox, but that is dumb. So apparently the aliens don't just kill Walt, because I guess redheads give them diarrhea, so they knock him out and disappear. But Walt wakes up and sees that it was all just a dream, before he makes sure that both his legs are still there to confirm it. Oh, so all of that was just a dream in his head. You really got me there, Haunting Hour. They wanted us to think that nothing supernatural is going on here at all, as we see Walt getting ready for a normal day. Well, I think I know where this is going.
Did my story freak you out?
Why would it freak me out? It's just a story. Besides, I'm not Martin.
Not yet. Not yet.
Walt goes back to school, where we see Greg and Bonnie confirming that everything that just happened was real, since they talk about how Walt is a danger to their plans. So why don't the aliens just kill him off?
We should neutralize him.
Unnecessary casualties attract attention.
Wait, what? Avoid unnecessary casualties? Avoid unnecessary casualties in your mission to hunt down and eat human children. I just like to point out that their entire reason for being on Earth in the first place is to hunt down and eat children. Their whole mission involves heavy casualties. Yet simply killing off one kid to stay silent and hiding the body is going to cause more problems for them beyond abducting other kids to eat? What, are they hoping that nobody will notice all the other kids they plan on eating suddenly vanishing without a trace? I guess they plan to pin it on Pennywise. Their whole plan involves mass murder, yet the aliens are somehow worried about getting caught now? Did Melody Fox even read this out loud? Why not silence Walt anyway? I don't think it's too much trouble to kill off Walt or wipe his memory with that magic stone they have. Heck, if they want nobody to believe in Walt's stories about aliens, why don't they do what the aliens in The Simpsons did?
I'm afraid we'll have to dispose of you. No, what are you spraying me with? Run, though no one will believe your story. Ah! And don't come back.
So, instead of making sure Walt is dead so that he won't come back to stop them, the aliens stupidly allow him to walk free and hope that he'll just forget that they ate off a part of his foot. You know, I'm starting to think that the aliens Evan and Natasha weren't in the episode because they probably died off screen from their stupidity. So the aliens just write off Walt, while we cut to a long, boring scene of the idiot bully being an idiot towards our hero that amounts to nothing. However, we do get a big scary scene where Walt discovers that the aliens were real after all, since his foot is missing a toe.
Stop yelling, four-toed freak. Four-toed freak. Four-toed freak. Four-toed freak.
Wow, thanks for your input there, idiot bully. He's so important to the story. So yeah, aside from idiot bully being stupid, this scene is pretty horrifying, since our hero lost a part of his foot. And no, he doesn't get it back. His injury stays like this forever. I'll give points to Melody Fox for showing us this gruesome scene, and extra points to the effects department for simulating that foot injury, since it really is nauseating and terrifying, especially for a show aimed at families.
Extremely big shit.
Big deal. Children nuggets taste so delicious.
So Walt runs away after his panic attack. We get an ironic shot of a Stop Bullying poster in an episode that was written by a woman who praises bullies, and Walt gets the idea that these aliens are dangerous when Bonnie corners him and threatens to kill him if he tells anyone about their existence. Again, you probably should have killed him back in his room when he was alone at night, but even in the book, Greg and Bonnie were pretty foolish. Walt runs away in fear, but he gets abducted in a sack, only to see that it wasn't the aliens, but idiot bully and his mute boyfriend, who then try to murder him by shoving him into a dumpster and then locking it up so Walt will die trapped inside. Good lord, what the heck is wrong with you monsters? You know, Melody Fox, there's a difference between a bully beating up a kid and attempted murder. In real life, if a bully did this to a kid, they would get arrested. But guess what? The bully faces 0 consequences for attempting to murder this innocent kid at all, and gets away completely scot-free. Yep, idiot bully never suffers at all in the entire episode, not even through magical means, despite trying to murder our hero. What are you trying to say, Miss Fox? That bullies will attempt to murder kids on a daily basis in real life, and they shouldn't do anything about it? That's life, I guess. I know I'm going on a tangent about this, but it really pisses me off that the idiot bully gets away with this, and how he was so unimportant to the episode since Walt easily breaks out of the dumpster he was locked in and carries on the plot completely unhindered. Again, the bully is still pointless, and Melody Fox went out of her way to have a scene of the idiot bully cruelly attempting to kill a child, something that even the aliens refuse to do. And she actually allows the bully to get away with this. I'd just like to remind you all that the same woman who wrote this story would later write an episode about how we should sympathize with bullies. Curse you, Melody Fox! But if you can believe it or not, after the worst part of the episode, we immediately follow this up with the best part of the whole story. I'm serious, right after Melody Fox pissed me off with her horrible bully getting away with attempted murder scene, she gives us the saving grace of this whole plot. The big epic climax where Walt finally stands up to the alien invaders and grows a spine. After escaping the dumpster, Walt tries locating his old pal Tim, but it's too late because Tim is now a member of the Alien Club as he hangs up on our hero so he can eat the alien candy and see the club headquarters, only for the aliens to turn on him and use the Power Stone to knock out Tim.
Welcome to our club. Welcome to our club. Welcome Squidward. Welcome Squidward. Welcome Squidward. Welcome Squidward. Welcome Squidward. Shut your half-wit pie holes!
Wait, so nobody notices the bullies tossing kids into dumpsters to die, or creepy weirdos drugging the students? Who is the idiot that lets all this stuff happen? Big shock, not killing Walt off was a huge mistake, since our hero learns where Tim is, because the Alien Club is still underneath the same basement that they gather all of their new recruits at, and the aliens thought he would forget that. And like I said before, the episode gets awesome, where Fregley becomes Ash Williams, since he grabs the fire axe and a fire extinguisher to save his unconscious bro from the aliens. Apparently aliens are also allergic to smoke, since it takes them a while to get back on their feet after getting lightly sprayed, while the kids run out the door. Then this leads us to a phenomenal chase scene, where the Haunting Hour recreates the famous Jurassic Park scene where the kids hide from the velociraptors in the dark kitchen, only this time with aliens. And it's really great. The suspense is high, the aliens look scary, it goes on for a good amount of time, and we do hope that the kids make it out of this alive. It's honestly a well done scary moment. I kind of wish that there were 4 aliens though instead of the 2, since that would have made this chase scene even better and more climatic. But what the show does is still just as great. The only thing missing is some classic chase scene music.
Dooby-dooby-doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you. Pretending you got a sliver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver.
The kids try to escape, but of course the aliens eventually find them, where it looks like the nerds have to face their fears once and for all, so they don't get devoured by the villains and all that. Yes, consume the human. Oh wait, it's a redhead. Gross, we insects despise redheads. They make us vomit more than the house is cooking.
Why you gotta go there, bro?
After using the gooch technique of throwing random stuff at them fails, the kids discover that the aliens are weakened by salt. Yes, really, salt is what kills them. They're apparently like snails. Their skin can't handle the burning sensation of salt, so the heroes murder the villains with salt. Well, at least Melody Fox didn't copy the aliens from Signs and their fatal weakness to water. That's a big improvement. I guess the true irony here is that the aliens were killed by something that makes food taste better. Still, the aliens were killed by salt? Salt of all things? I'll buy it since it's not too far out there, but it's a pretty bizarre weakness for aliens to have.
If you think that's strange, you should see how we pee.
So we're not so different after all.
So after slaying their enemies, the kids completely get over that murdering aliens super easily thing, and they decide to tell no one about any of this at all, since Walt wisely thinks that no one will believe them. But suddenly, the lunch lady and the custodian come in, apparently to work at night, by dropping off some baking supplies before closing time, forcing the two kids to bail out the school. Which also raises the question on how the adults never noticed the aliens dragging kids down to the basement to die, when we clearly see that there are night workers at this school every night. But screw it, we need the story to end. However, the lunch lady accidentally knocks the alien guts into her cooking pot, where, like a total moron, she stupidly never looks down into her food pot which she cooks in, and she blends the alien guts into the cafeteria food to serve tomorrow. Oh boy. So does the lunch lady always cook food at midnight without the lights on? Who cares, because we cut to the next day, where Walt and Tim brag about how cool they are for killing aliens. Did Walt forget the fact that a part of his foot was eaten off? Shouldn't he be at a hospital right about now getting that looked at? Why are the kids just nonchalantly talking about killing aliens like it was an average Tuesday? Walt just brushes off the fact that he's missing a toe. Hello? Is anyone going to address this kid getting partially eaten or scarred for life? He was nearly eaten alive, twice!
Don't just eat and forget. Eat and forget.
Ah, never mind, because we then get our twist ending. As the kids eat lunch, the idiot bully says that the chicken nuggets taste a little different today, where Walt and Tim see the alien guts and bodily fluids were mixed into the cafeteria food, as they scream in horror.
The nuggets taste different today? Yeah, I thought so. More flavor than usual.
You don't suppose.
Yep, that's actually where the episode ends. We conclude with a gross out moment where the school is eating alien corpses while the heroes scream in fear. That's honestly pretty weak. I mean, is it really a twist ending when we literally saw the twist coming? Come on, Melody Fox. Did you actually expect us to be surprised by this when the last scene was the lunch lady unwittingly mixing the alien corpses into her food supply? Secondly, I find it hard to care about what happens to these kids at all, since you showed them all cheering on the bullies for causing mayhem, so I don't care if a bunch of kids I hate live or die. And finally, does eating the alien guts and bodily fluids even affect anyone? So they ate corpses. It's gross, but we don't exactly know if the students will die or mutate into aliens themselves or whatever else. In fact, it's kind of hard to tell if this ending was supposed to be scary or funny. I can't tell if Melody Fox wanted to scare us with this gross out moment or make us laugh that all the idiots are eating alien testicles. We don't even know if the alien blood will do anything to them. Wouldn't it have been more satisfying if the idiot bully screamed in horror upon realizing that he was eating some kind of weird animal? Or if he died of food poisoning, that's good too. I guess Melody Fox wanted us to laugh at the idiot bully and the jerk students for eating alien corpses as their karma, but that kind of falls flat when only the heroes scream in horror, since they react to it, but nobody who was a jerk does. As far as we know, them eating the aliens doesn't have any larger effects outside of gross out. which is kind of weak when you compare it to the bigger Haunting Hour story twists. So yeah, that's where the episode ends. The student body eats dead alien bodies. And that was the end of Alien Candy, everybody. How does it hold up? Well, it was okay. That's really all I can say. It was an okay episode. It does have a ton of fantastic moments in it, like the aliens, the chase scene, Walt and Tim's friendship, and some awesome effects. But it also has its weaknesses, such as the generic idiot bully, the plot holes that could have been easily fixed, and the weak gross-out twist. Every time the episode had a bad moment, there was a good moment that evened it out. But I still have trouble seeing this episode as something epic like Mascot, Dreamcatcher, Uncle Howie, or My Old House. I will give Melody Fox this, though. The Alien Candy episode is a lot better than the Nightmare Hour version. She does a great job expanding the story into an action-adventure and gives some of the characters much more development than they had in the book. We do actually get to see how Walt joined up with the Alien Club and how Greg and Bonnie operate on their hunt for victims. In the Nightmare Hour, the book kind of just starts out with Walt already in the Alien Club, and it's mostly the club members being jerks towards him by ignoring his existence when he tries learning more about their club activities. As much as I find the ending to this episode weak, I will admit that I am glad to see Walt and Tim overcoming their struggles, because in the book, Walt died. Yeah, in the book, it ends with Walt getting eaten alive by the aliens once they reveal their true forms. And the aliens reveal that they've been luring in kids for a long time because Walt was just one of many victims. And they continue on their traps to eat even more children. Here, it's a lot more epic to see the nerds toughen up and strike back. The alien candy itself just allowed the aliens to shapeshift from human to alien, but on the show, it slowly poisons and fattens up their victims, which provides more use for the villains and the story as a whole. I also kind of like how the characters grow more in the show version. For example, in the book, both Greg and Bonnie were childish jerks who just trolled Walter until they killed him off, but in the show, Greg and Bonnie are much more sadistic and creepier than their novel counterparts ever were, and their alien forms are much scarier than the Big Bird look. The kids playing them also do a fantastic job being creepy, manipulative villains. Walt gets some better characterization as well, since in the book he was just a shy fat kid who got easily manipulated by these monsters when they played off of his innocence. But in the show, I admire that Walt goes from a loser nerd into a brave hero who faces off against his enemies to save his best friend. Who knew Fregley was so radical? I think that this episode would have been better if Walt and Tim stood up to the idiot bully too, since it pisses me off that the bully got away with his jerk behavior. I mean, come on, these two kids murdered aliens. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to see them stand up to the idiot bully, especially if this story was meant to be an inspirational tale for nerds to become brave. True, it was cool that they slayed aliens, but idiot bully is still awful. As I complained all throughout the episode, the idiot bully is useless. He has no major part in the story, and you can easily skip all of his scenes without missing a thing. If he was supposed to be a big part in the plot, then it would have been better if the twist ending had Tim and Walt gaining superpowers from their contact with aliens or the Power Stone so they could fight back against him. Think about it. Walt had his foot munched on by an alien, and in the fight between them and the aliens, Tim actually bites the alien's hand, sucking some of its blood. Melody Fox could have had the kids gaining superpowers from their contact with the aliens, and they'd use their powers to get back at Idiot Bully. That would have been a much more surprising twist than the gross-out ending, where the students eat alien guts, but that's just me. Overall, Alien Candy is a decent episode with a few minor scratches. Personally, I prefer Calling All Creeps when it comes to mixing aliens, anti-bullying morals, and poison alien food together, since it does a lot of what Alien Candy does in a much more dramatic light. But this episode does have its own good moments too. There is way too much focus on the generic idiot bully when it should have mainly focused on the aliens as the primary antagonists, since the aliens are far more interesting villains. I don't care about the idiot bully at all. I'm more interested in the aliens. How did they get here? Are there more of them? Do they have a spaceship? Will their blood and bodily fluids mutate the students? What happened to the Power Stone? These are questions Melody Fox should have wrote answers for, but surprisingly she didn't think that through. But what we did get is still entertaining nonetheless. This episode really is like a piece of candy. First it's sour, but then it's sweet. You just got to get past the hard shell to enjoy the sweet side. I give this episode a silver skull. It does have a ton of great moments that really scare us, but it also has some of the problems that plagued Melody Fox's later stories. The idiot bully, the plot holes, the blatant plot armor, and the weak ending are my biggest issues. But the entertaining alien story, the great nightmare fuel, amazing practical effects, stupendous paranoia of stranger danger, the awesome villain designs, and the likable main characters are enough to balance out the biased opinions I have. I actually do think that the show's version of Alien Candy is a big improvement over the story from the Nightmare Hour, since it provides a lot of greater concepts and expands a simple plot into a bigger one. I just wish Melody Fox focused on the good parts instead of her weaker stuff. Nevertheless, Alien Candy is a really tasty treat that will give you the sweet sensation of nightmares you'd expect at the center of the Haunting Hour. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I am so glad that this is now the last episode I ever review with one of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid cast members.
Become a citizen of the Milky Way by holding out your hand. Grab the taste that'll make your day. One sip and you'll understand. Our friends have come from far beyond to help us and to quench your thirst while we all bond. Don't wait, reach for a reach. Yeah, in strawberry, mango, or in peach, reach for a reach.
From LexCorp and The Reach.
This video was sponsored by Big Yell O cereal. Taste the children.